So welcome back to the Setting the Tone podcast. Today we got my friend and our mental performance coach at Playmaker University, Christian Zitney. It's been a pleasure getting to know you.
For sure. Likewise.
And I love hearing your story. And I almost stopped you when we first met when you were telling me your story because I envisioned doing this podcast with you. And I want, I'd love for you to just share your story or whatever you feel good about talking about.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, for those who may not know, my name is Christian Zitney and born and raised Cleveland, Ohio. And basketball was an outlet for me. And that's how, we connected.
Yep.
The NBA was always my dream, but I faced a lot of adversity before getting to the point where I am now. So lost my identity, went through a lot of trauma, self-doubt, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, just almost like I lost my sense of purpose. But through that journey, I learned that the only answer was really God, and that God will bless you. God will first test you, then he'll bless you. So I just think I learned a lot about not to chase and just to attract, and to understand that I was more than a basketball player.
Yeah.
So, but through that journey, wasn't recruited in high school. Didn't play much at all. I was able to go play college basketball because of a TikTok video that went viral. An NBA agent saw me playing one day. He's like, "Hey, where do you play basketball?" And I was like, "I don't play anywhere, but I want to." So we filmed the video, put it out, went viral. Then I sent it to coaches, and then I played in Alabama. So I have a very untraditional, crazy type of story, but I appreciate it because it just shows people that you don't have to do what the world tries to teach you in ways that needs to be done. You can just do what God wants for you to be able to inspire other people. So that's a little bit of my story for sure.
Yeah, I have a mentor that's very important to me in my life. His name's Paul Bennett. He calls them serendipitous events, like people that have a relationship with God. There's no mistakes.
Absolutely.
These serendipitous things happen, and a video going viral when you brought God into your life, there's no mistake about that.
Exactly. 1000%.
Yeah, and I remember you sharing a lot with me that you struggled with performance when you were younger, that you had all these talents and gifts, and you struggled with performance, and then so tell me a little bit about that part.
I appreciate you asking. This is a powerful question because throughout my journey, I always had the talent, but I didn't know how to tap into the talent. What I mean by that is it's about the foundation where it all started. So it was the trauma. So, I dealt with different things at home that limited my performance on the court. I feel like I couldn't be free because at home, if the dishes weren't clean, or if, I got in trouble or whatever it might've been, I had shackles on my brain because I felt like I couldn't do anything right. So even on the court, it's like I had to be perfect, and I would tense up and I'd be in the shell because I couldn't free myself. But in reality, you talk about, serendipity, and like in neuroscience, they talk about synchronicities. And essentially I've learned through my journey that everything is happening for you, not to you. So I'm almost grateful for the things that have happened because I'm able to share my story and help the next person who might be going through trauma or who doesn't know how to get through it, or may not have the resources. So it's been the greatest test, but it also has shown me the power of myself and the power of God, because with him, all things are possible. So
I was just listening to Simon Sinek, and he was talking about, what keeps the most successful people going, like on a straight arrow, is the mission, not motivation.
Right. Yes.
And the mission, like the way he explained it, and I can really relate to it in my life is, motivation comes in ebbs and flows, and it's, I want to win the championship. I want to make this amount of money. I want to get this relationship or whatever. These are worldly things. And so like, that's not what's going to sustain true success and, character building and the right things, the things that God wants for us. It's the mission, and the mission is, what drives you to help? What is the mission, that something out there that drives you to do things that's going to help somebody else, or that's going to help a cause? And,
yes, man, that's so powerful.
Man, it is, and it's so true, because like, we both have some similarities in our stories in the sense of when we were chasing worldly things. We went through some difficult things, and I struggle with addiction and substance abuse, and that's like shackles. How you described when you were going through trauma and things that happened to you. I had shackles in my life, and it wasn't until I had like a spiritual awakening that those shackles came free, and the freedom from that is amazing. And what drives people in the program of recovery is service to others, the mission of helping others. People have done that in my life, and now it drives me to want to do that for other people in the program. But there's a second mission that I have, and you're a part of that now.
For sure.
Playmaker University, and it is truly a mission, because I never started Playmaker University to make money,
right,
or for fame, or to build a brand, even though our brand is building, but it's based on a mission.
Exactly.
I started it for a mission. I wanted to help kids. I wanted to coach. I wanted to work with kids, and I wanted to give kids something that maybe I didn't get to experience growing up, which was joy playing the game, and some mentorship and character building and life lessons along the way, because it's a platform to do that.
Exactly.
And now it's even bigger than that, and
Right.
it's something I want you to touch on in Weekend Together.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
You've seen it for a month or so. AAU basketball is a mess.
It is.
Right? Youth basketball is a mess. And
It is.
from so many aspects, from the business aspect of it, from the tournament providers to the circuits, that they're not really, some of them aren't really in it for the growth of the kids. It's
Right.
it's big business. It's
For
not
sure.
like a small business. Then there's the programs that are getting as many teams as they can to make as much money, and they're not really investing in the kids. It's a true business to them too. The parents, some of the parents, how they are interacting with their kids, and so on and so forth. But
Yeah, for sure.
tell me a little bit, your perspective.
Yeah,
You just got started with us.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. People don't understand the power of pouring into souls. So these are young kids who are very impressionable. They're gullible. They want information. They want to learn. They want to get better. But then we have these external factors: the social media, the comparison, or how many followers does this person have, or what offers do they have that I don't have, or whatever. It just becomes this mental, psychological game. But in reality, it should be, how can I be a man of God, first and foremost? Secondly, okay, how can I be a better athlete? Because for those who don't know, and I know we've talked about this before, but basketball was created by Dr. James Naismith to spread the gospel, to be a disciple, to build community. This is what basketball is for.
Yep. And
we live in a world now where, money corrupts so much. Like it talks about in the Bible, for what shall it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Yeah. Now basketball, and this is why we're working to change that narrative, but now basketball has become an entity just for profit instead of to impact and change lives. So touch more on it too, or to add, I would just say seeing the business of things, seeing how, sporadic and crazy and chaotic it is, and how these athletes aren't even looked at as like humans, they're just looked at as like robots and money machines.
Yeah.
It's truly sad, because they don't know what these kids are going through at home. Mom and dad might not be in their lives. They may suffer, someone may be in prison, or someone may be injured, whatever it may be. We have to start there first, because in order to be the best version of yourself, you have to heal within. Yeah. And by doing that, you're going to be able to be a better athlete. So yeah. It breaks my heart seeing these things. And I grew up kind of witnessing it on a smaller scale, but now seeing social media in this world, I'm just like, whoa, we got to get back to like what truly matters. You know what I mean? So,
you came with us to Cincinnati at a big hoops tournament. You saw 30 courts going at once, the chaos, you got thrown right into the fire. It was good for you to see that. And
sure.
It's like, I try to break these things down step by step, because our program's taking off. We're building something I think is really good.
For sure.
And we don't want to get caught up and go down that slippery slope of all these other programs. And, I know that some parents don't view it that way. They're paying a lot of money for their kids to become better basketball players. So I guess what I really want to start focusing on with parents and everybody involved in our program is like performance. Like, I don't think people understand how much they're influencing these kids' performances in a negative way by all the stuff that is surrounding these environments, from people screaming to the stress levels to, coaches, parents yelling at refs, coaches, parents yelling at kids during the game, coaches yelling at each other. These rankings of kids that are in 4th, 5th grade, state rankings, national rankings, which is so toxic, so unrealistic. And it's all, at the end of the day, all of it is compromising the performances of the kids to get to the best of their ability. And so we are really trying to focus on taking away getting our kids away from all that stuff.
Absolutely.
And it's almost impossible to do fully unless you have the parents bought in.
Exactly.
From an organizational standpoint, to the coaching staff, to the parents. And it's communication and education. And it's not me wanting to preach and tell people how to parent or what they should be doing with their kids, but it's like, it's reflecting on our experiences. It's telling our stories, our testimony, because we're able to see things in a different light that can really help kids.
Exactly.
I believe that. So
1000%. Not everybody has the experience. You know what I mean? So I feel like it hits a lot deeper because we understand what these kids are up against.
Yeah.
And being intentional with levels of awareness. So when I say that, I mean understanding, okay, if my son or daughter is being programmed every day by a device, a synthetic device, essentially, how is that building them or shaping them? Or how is that helping them grow? Or if they're being, on social media looking at what this team is doing or whatever the situation may be, we have to be intentional with our time and our love and being so invested into that, because what happens is if you're yelling at your child, for example, all you're doing is creating more psychological pressure. They already feel nerves because they want to perform well. They want to please coach. They want to please parents. They want to please whatever. They want to please their own ego.
Yeah.
But if we remove those layers and say, hey, I love you no matter what, however you play, go out there, have fun, go compete, go get better, be coachable.
Yeah.
That needs to be more of the dialogue.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be all of these, hold it up. That's too much.
Yeah.
They're just kids. They need to grow. They need to learn.
Yeah.
And through doing that, it's setting them up for such a successful future on and off the court, because then they'll be able to navigate the psychological war that goes on in business and whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So I say that really to say being intentional is what we're about. And we understand because we've been through it and we are going through it as professional athletes, as mentors, as men of God. So, and I just feel like that's of the utmost importance.
Yeah. Amen.
Trust and flow.
I know that maybe that can sound like a soft approach.
Right.
And sports is tough.
Right.
Life is tough.
Right.
But it's not. So what people have to understand is when we talk like that, we're not being soft.
At all.
We teach these kids to compete. Our practices are intense. Our culture is intense. Mm-hmm. They're battling with every day in practice. These kids are getting pushed physically, mentally. We're starting to push them spiritually. It's just harnessing the energy in the right ways. We want to teach them to be resilient against the right stuff.
Exactly.
Not resilient against worldly things.
Exactly.
Things that aren't going to help them on the court. We want them to battle against their opponent and battle to be the best versions of themselves. And focusing on the right things, because we only have so much energy that we can give, even as kids, right? And so I really want to start communicating that to parents, like, don't think we're soft. Right. I was as tough as they come, man. Right. Like I was, I used to sacrifice my body on a daily basis, and that's what helped me get to the next level. But like, to my dad's credit, and he was a tough coach. My dad was a Bobby Knight type coach, very old school. He pushed me so hard as a basketball player, but he kept distractions away from me. He protected me. Like people would come talk to me after games. Hey, he needs the rest, Even family parties, my aunts would come up that hadn't seen me in years. Hey, he needs to eat. He's had a game. Like I never knew what rankings were. Right. They were there. They weren't as prevalent as now because social media wasn't there, but they were there.
Right.
I never knew what circuits were, and we had teammates growing up that Nike teams would go after them, and somehow my dad would keep them to stay because the mothers trusted him, and he just had that old school approach about him. And I want to bring that back. I want to bring that back because if a 5'10" guy that never dunked can play Division I, started 3 years, and play professionally 6 years, and almost, at an Olympic level, almost made the NBA. I had a tryout with the Spurs set up. I was a starting point guard of the Italian national team. Like, I was in my prime, and things were really, who knows what could have came, but I got injured. Sure. And but I think that a lot of that happened from my upbringing. Yes. I don't think any of that happens. Like,
discipline.
I learned how to be mentally tough towards the right things. I wasn't fighting against people in the stands. I wasn't fighting against social media and comparison and rankings. And, I was just being tough. Exactly. Becoming the best version of myself, like pushing myself on a daily basis, focusing on getting better. And the result of that was tremendous. And it wasn't just me. It was other kids I grew up with that were coached by my father. Mm-hmm. We were the Illinois Wildcats. And so many of us went on to play college basketball and over-exceeded expectations by numerous percentages.
Right,
It's like, best friend of mine, he's from Evanston, Illinois. He's the version of me for big guys. He was 6'4". I'm a 5'10" point guard. He was a 6'4" power forward that was an D2 All-American at UMass Lowell, that went on to Israel, played 6 years pro. There's just numerous examples of it. And there's a reason for that. That's not a coincidence.
Exactly.
We were in the same program, and that put us on a path to give us opportunities to be successful. And then we took it, at a certain point on our own, and we're able to have success at different levels. But I want to bring that back to our program with the addition of mental coaching, mentorship, leadership building, helping build their character, helping spiritual. I just saw that Baylor men's basketball coach Drew he's a strong Christian, and I got to meet him when he was coaching that. When he just took the job at Baylor, we played him in Hawaii when I was at Northern Illinois, and he came and spoke to us because he was friends with my coach, Coach Jutz, and I could just tell he was a special guy, special human being. But they have a baptism wall.
Wow.
So anyone that gets baptized that was ever on the Baylor men's program, they have a wall of that. In addition to their wall, their Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Because you're talking, I'm like, man, what if we did that for Playmaker University?
Right.
There's kids that have already talked. Josiah has already talked about wanting to get baptized. And, so we want to add all those elements on top of bringing that old school AAU basketball approach. And
it's powerful.
Yeah, it is.
It's super, super powerful. Yeah. Like, we have to wash away the old things that aren't working, this worldly stuff, these things that are just going to fade in time. It's all fleeting, but the spirit is forever. And, I'm grateful that these things are happening within the program, because this is what the world needs more of. And it creates a universal shift, because everything derives from influence. So now when another program sees, oh, wow, they're doing prayer before games, and they're in their devotionals, and they're talking about God, and like openly, it's not like a thing to be shy about.
Yeah.
That's what creates the world, creates change in the world. And that's just what we need more of. And to touch on what you said too about, when you're talking about your upbringing with your dad and everything, love, there's a saying, love ain't lies. And I'm a firm believer in that. Like, if I want you to grow, if I want to bring the best out of you, I have to tell you the truth. I have to tell you, hey, you need discipline, you need structure.
Yeah. I
have to protect your mind from the outside forces that are working against you unknowingly. You may not be cognitively aware of that, because you're stuck in your paradigm, so to say. Yeah. But if you really wake up to see, wow, we're really fighting a spiritual war, that's when you can free yourself, and you can realize like God is the answer to every single problem. And it's just about surrendering. So that's why it's beautiful to have basketball and God and combining the two, and it just makes magic. Yeah. And I'm grateful for what you're doing with the program.
You too. Thank you. Yeah, you're amazing with the kids. I see how they respond to you. You have a tremendous impact on the kids in our program, and the kids that you've been around. And I want you to be a big part of our program whenever you can be.
For sure.
Because I know you're still going for your professional career.
For sure.
And, the biggest struggle, when you were saying that, it just popped in my mind right away is like, we have the kids' eyes and ears and hearts now. I can feel it, and they respond, and we can influence them. It's the parents, and I never want to be a guy that just sounds like I'm preaching to parents and acting like I'm above or I know better. But the truth is, they're the ones that are the hardest to like get through, because they have their own beliefs,
right?
And maybe some of them don't have a spirituality.
For sure.
Maybe they do. Maybe they have a different religion. But the truth is, like all those things that you said, is we need the parents to understand that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I guess it's being bold enough to like start to talk about those things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And trusting, because when I look at people like you and I, it's like we've been around high level spaces. We understand like what really goes on, and it would be different if we were just cowards, so to say, and we didn't know. But we actually know, hey, this is what they need in order to see. Yeah. Because if you want the best for them, just trust. Yeah, we have their best interest at heart. Yeah. And like you said, no, we're not perfect. We're all flawed human beings, but at the end of the day, our hearts are pure. Yeah, I truly believe that. I truly believe that we want the best for these kids, and we're willing to do whatever it takes. Yeah. And that's always been a part of my mission. I always told God, I'll always have conversations with God. I say, God, I promise to use my platform, to use my voice for you. I promise not to shy away from my belief. I promise not to allow the world to make me think that you're not real when I know that you are.
Yeah.
I promise to, I'll have these conversations, right? Because society is constantly, as you're on your phone, you're like this, you're scrolling, you're losing touch to the creator. You're losing touch to what really matters. So, but I really say that to say, what we're doing is intentional and it's purpose driven. And when and we talked about this before, when you do the Lord's work, you can never lose. So that's just where I'm at with it.
Not only are you a blessing to the program, you're a blessing to me because you challenge me.
Likewise.
Like when I was just hearing you say that, like I do shy away from that sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes I'm not bold enough to speak my beliefs in my mind, and I need to be, because I have a powerful testimony now, right? I played professional basketball at a really high level. Then I went through a really rough time in my life through alcoholism and addiction and arrests and, just destruction, right? Exactly. Just the devil just took over my life. And God, a relationship with God, having a spiritual awakening, going through the program, this mentor that I have has made an incredible impact in my life. It's like what God did for me and all these things that have happened with the program and, the people that have come into my life, it's no mistake, man. Like, definitely. I'll share just that part at some point on a podcast, like how Playmaker has really taken off. It's from the people that I met. We'll announce that soon. We're gonna be opening up a gym and how that started. And, that's all God. And I need to use my platform. Yes. To talk about God and those things. And I need to be bold about it because it's just the truth. It's the truth. Like there's no other way to explain it. They're not cliches. They're not coincidences. We don't say these things for punchlines. Like we're on a mission and we're intentional and we care about the kids. Like, and that the things that are going to really help them is building their character and allowing them to play with joy. And that when college coaches come, they want to know about their grades and their character and their families. Exactly. This is all the truth. Exactly. These are not just things that we say to hope to get people to conform to what we want. It's literally the truth. And we want to make success stories. At the end of the day, yes, we want to build a program and have a platform to help as many kids as we can, but ultimately we want to make success stories out of these kids so that they can shine and help other people. And it's the domino effect. It's transferable energy. And like your story is your glory. The thing that you've been through is going to help so many other people, because here's the funny thing about human psychology and human behavior, people in general. Everybody's going through something, has gone through something, will go through something. Yeah. We would do a good job of hiding it. And I believe vulnerability is such a powerful thing because it allows people to be like, wait a second, I can express my truth now because I've gone through this and I've been through these hardships. And that's what it's about, because we weren't born into this war. We were born into this world pure, but it's the evil around us that, tries to tug at our soul. There's this quote that I read, I share with you. Good and evil are always in constant battle for human souls. And this is the truth. So being able to armor these kids' minds and protect their minds and their spirits from what they're going to come up against in this life is of the utmost importance, because not a lot of programs are being intentional with, hey, let me help you shape your character, build your mindset, help you prepare for what's to come. Yeah. Most people are like, oh yeah, let's just dribble, do this drill. It's bigger than that. Yeah. And in saying that, you have to be purpose-driven. You have to be a vessel that God uses to spread his light, because we are called to be the light of the world. That's just the truth. That's not a hidden knowledge. You can look that up. You can read into it, whatever you want. It's the truth. Yeah. We all have a soul. We all have that inner voice that tells us right from wrong. And we have to listen to that positive voice so we can be able to make a difference in this world. Yeah. Because too much of this society and this world is constructed based on other people's opinions and thoughts instead of doing what's actually right. Yeah. Or there's hidden agendas, or there's this or there's that. If you listen to God, if you listen to your heart, if you do right by people, you will be blessed. And by doing so, that person will be blessed, that they'll pass a blessing on to the next person and the next person and the next person and the next person. Yeah. And it just keeps going. Yeah. So that's what it's about. Yeah. I want to touch on a little bit like energy. You talk about that all the time. For sure. Right? The having positive energy in our program, and like I'm completely bought in, and you're a reason for that. Like I could already start to feel that, like how important it is to have positive energy around, but like your energy took us to another level. And now we got to protect it.
Yes.
Right. And like, it's all contagious, positive energy, negative energy. The head coach of the University of Iowa, and I can't think of his name right now, Ben McCollum, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of it, but they made a big run in the NCAA tournament. And I saw a video about his story, and he started, I think, Division II. And I think the first 2 years, I don't know what division it was. It wasn't Division I though. I think his team started something like 34 wins and 50 something losses in the first few years there. And they didn't fire him. They stuck with him, whatever the school was. And they asked him, what are you going to change? Offense, defense, philosophy, culture. He said, I'm not changing anything except the people in the program. Anyone that has any ounce of negative energy is gone. Players, staff, organization,
that's big.
Ball boys,
That's
and anyone around my program is out. And they said he did that. He just brought in positive people. He made sure there was nothing but positive energy. And he went on a run like 200 and something wins and like 30 losses over the next handful of years.
It's insane.
Worked his way up the ladder. Now
Right.
he's at the University of Iowa having great amounts of success. And I was like, man, at a time when our program is starting to focus on positive energy too, like, it's so important. And Simon Sinek in the same video said, it's like your loyalty needs to be to the positivity that you surround yourself with, to your growth, to your culture, not to people. Don't be loyal to people because, meaning negative people got to go.
Exactly,
basically.
they do. And I want to touch on that. It's crazy. So this is where I get a little nerdy. I study a lot of neuroscience and psychology and consciousness. And the unseen forces are the most powerful forces. And we may not be able to see them, but we can feel them.
Yep.
That's why bringing positive energy and being a light and being kind and motivating, having the right mindset, it makes all the difference in the world, because little do people know your thoughts are always being distorted through the external stimuli. So if someone else comes in, say, for example, if someone were to walk in the room, maybe they had a bad day or had a bad morning, and you may not know what's going on, but you can feel that energy within, and maybe that can get passed on to you if you allow it.
Yeah.
But that's why you have to be aware of what that is.
Yep.
So that's why energy is so important and special, because although you can't hold it in your physical hands, it's this world is made of energy. Nikola Tesla talks about it. Albert Einstein, all the greatest minds to ever exist. And when you really understand that you are a divine, energetic being, that's when you realize, whoa, like I was taught wrong through propaganda, through, modern education. Like we're much more powerful than we've ever been taught. So it's about reverse engineering the brainwashing to unlock levels of yourself that you can feel within, but give yourself the permission, the daily discipline and habits to create that. So that's energy is everything. Energy, frequency, vibration, whatever you want to call it. It's everything. It truly is.
And who you surround yourself is the most important part of that.
It is.
And that's what Simon
a rotten apple will, there was a portrait that I saw. A rotten apple will ruin other fresh apples, all because it's rotten. If it stays around it for long enough, the whole, all of the apples will go bad. I'm like, that's crazy. That's typically how it works in society. So energy is just powerful. And I want to implement that and teach that into our guys. Like, hey, if you miss a shot, it's okay. Stephen Curry misses thousands of shots. He's on record of one of the most misses ever. Him, Kobe Bryant, like he does. So just don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself love and self-compassion. And you can unlock so many different levels, all because you got out of your own way.
Yes. That's brings us back to like the culture. The culture, we want it to be positive and nothing but positive people. And because like you said, when someone walks in the room, if they have negative energy, you can feel it. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. It's hard to describe how you can, why you can. You can just feel it. And like kids even more so. From the parents, from the coaches. And like it's I try to be really conscious of that. And it's hard because we're in a competitive environment. Get mad at the rest, get mad at the kids, make it, it's but that energy is what's gonna allow them to be the most successful. So it's like that next play mentality, focusing on the right things. It's so important.
And studying a lot of sports psychology, George Mumford, who was Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's sports psychologist, studying the power of being in the present moment. Like the mind is always being pulled in different directions, but if you can just say, hey, one possession at a time, one play at a time, and if you can just be so present in that moment, that's what unlocks flow. You unlock flow through joy, through gratitude, not pressure, fear. God didn't give us a spirit of fear. like he didn't. That talks about it in scripture.
Yeah.
He wants us to be joyful, to be grateful for what we have and who we are, because so many people wish that they had the opportunity.
Yeah.
So in knowing that, you have to really humble yourself, honestly. You have to say, you know what? There's a study out there, 150,000 people die per day. Wow, I woke up today. We're having this amazing conversation right now. This is a blessing. We're in this beautiful place where we're having a great conversation that's, beyond, bigger than life. It's to help people, it's to encourage and inspire.
Yeah.
Who am I to complain and get out of my own way? Who am I as an athlete to worry about if I miss a shot or if I have a turnover?
Yeah.
Life goes on.
Yeah.
Keep playing.
Yeah.
Keep getting better and channel anything negative and turn it into positive. I learned that from Jordan. He talks a lot about that. We can't control the things that happen to us in life, but we can control how we respond. And that is so important, because my whole life I've known nothing but obstacles. But Winston Churchill has a quote that says, success is jumping from failure to failure with lack of enthusiasm. And that was so powerful to me, because it's like, Thomas Edison talks about it. He said, I just found 1,000 ways to not make the light bulb. That doesn't mean that I failed.
Yeah.
We're sitting in this very building with lighting because he didn't give up. Yeah. So just know the power of you and don't be so hard on yourself.
The power of the mind. Like,
yes.
That's why sports psychologists have you vision.
Yes.
Making the game-winning shot. And I've experienced it in my life before, when I was playing overseas.
Yeah, you telling me that.
Yeah. I guess I'll share that story. Like,
please.
So my first year in the top league of Italy was year 4 for me. So that's like going from the G League to the NBA in Italy. So it's the first day we get there, and it's a team meeting. And so we go and we meet the team, we meet the coaches, and they say, the Italian national team just so happens to be in town. They're on an exhibition tour, and they're playing at our home stadium. So the city that I was playing in, which is called Montegranaro, which is in Ancona. They're playing France tonight in our home stadium. Anyone that wants to come, we're gonna have a bus leaving here, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I wanna go see. Exactly. France had Tony Parker, so I wanna go see. And, I'm a nobody. I just got into the top league, so I'm like a rookie, with no name and no, no expectations. Like, maybe the expectation was to hopefully start on that team that year. And so I'm watching this game, and by halftime, like, I'm just looking at the point guards on the Italian national team, and I'm like, I want to be that one day. I want to be the Italian national point guard one day. Like, I can do it. I'm watching these guys, like, they're very good. They're like, very, very skilled, but they weren't like, it wasn't like looking at like LeBron James, like, I don't have the ability. It was like, nah, I can do that. So by the second half, like, in my mind, kind of rooting for the Italian point guards to mess up. I can't do it out loud because I'm supposed to be rooting for Italy. I'm in Italy, but I'm kind of rooting for those guys. Are my competitors already. And long story short, we start the Italian league season on that team, not so good, and I'm on the brink of being cut. And the next game, I hit the game winner, and we go on to win 10 straight. And my season flips. I end up being named. The team does really well. I end up being named the all-Italian team, so the top point guard of the Italian league that year. I get asked that next summer to play for the Italian national, to try out for the Italian national team. Wow. I make the team, earn the starting spot. Wow. So 1 year later, I'm the starting point guard of the Italian national team. And I had that vision the summer before. Man. Now that it happened that fast, I didn't envision it that fast, but like, that was the power of the mind. Wow. For sure. There's no other way to describe that. Because the odds of that happening is, it defies logic. So, yeah. It
does. Like, I want to talk about the neurosciences that I study, right? And they talk about manifestation, law of attraction, these different things. And these are kind of like woo-woo type of topics in certain areas. But in reality, the most successful people to ever exist have all talked about these things. And, creating vision boards and visualization. So the brain doesn't know the difference between actual reality and imagined reality. So it's like we talked about, I touched on synchronicities earlier. You ever been thinking about somebody and then you end up seeing them? Yeah. That's the power of the mind. It's like the mind is like a magnet. You can pull things to you. It sounds kind of like crazy, but again, we talked about being divine beings. We're more powerful than we've ever been taught. So the more you can train and condition your mind, you can create what you want, like you did. Yep. You saw it, you felt it, you had your soul communicated to you, not your flesh. Your soul said, I can play at this level, I can do this. Yeah. And then it manifested and it happened. That's true. So it's like, if we were more intentional with what we feed our minds every day, there's nothing that can stop us genuinely.
Agree.
This is all backed by research, by the way. MRI scans, neuroscientists, psychologists, goes on and on and on. So I would definitely recommend anybody to understand, looking into manifestation and the power of it, because it's very real. Yeah. And I'm a living testimony of it, man. Yeah. Like I've manifested a lot of my life, and I continue to. So I'm just grateful for that.
Yeah. I'm fascinated with the brain, and that's something I know you are too. And because of, what I struggle with, addiction, and going through into a treatment center and getting educated on what was really happening in my brain, and I became fascinated with it, and what I did to my body and my brain, and how to start to go about recovering that. And so I've always, since that point, been very fascinated with the mind for outside sports reasons. But when you told me like you studied sports psychology and the mental performance aspect, how that you could bring that to our program, that's another thing that drew me to you. And I think it's so powerful. It's so important for these kids to learn that at a young age.
Yes, I wish that I would have.
Yeah, me too. And I experienced some of it just organically, like the story I told. That just happened. Right. Now I can reflect back on it with the science that you're talking about. Like, no, that's true. I lived it. Right. But I wasn't taught those things, and because those things not only can help you in sports but in life, right? Exactly. And that's the most important thing, because these kids, everyone's going to go through something different. Someone's going to hit you in the mouth in life at some point. Right?
Yes,
and it's like,
it will. That's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed. Yeah.
Life is not cupcakes, rainbows, and butterflies. It will definitely. Yeah. And to that point, like, people use the term mind over matter, right? Yeah. Which is a good thing to say. Yeah. And also, and I add to that, mind creates matter. This very luscious couch that I'm sitting on, somebody thought of it. Somebody created it in their mind first. Albert Einstein has a quote that says, imagination is more important than knowledge. And imagination is a preview of life's coming attractions. So what you can see here, you can hold into the physical realm. And these things are so powerful because, like you touched on it, like I wasn't taught either. I had to learn myself through my own research and overcoming my own suffering. I realized, wow, we're just conditioned to think a certain kind of way. But in reality, if we just understand how to think and why, most of our thoughts aren't even because of us. It's because of things that are going on in the outside world. Yep. And even, we will talk about the subconscious mind. 95% of our thoughts come from our subconscious, and that's what directs our life. Wow. 95%. So the fact that our subconscious mind is basically running the show, and it's like on autopilot, once you realize, wait a second, I can just retrain my brain. I can use neuroplasticity to be able to create that change. Yep. How can I lose? How can I lose when God wants me to win? So I think it's just about losing yourself to find yourself, understanding that, okay, I can be better. There's things that I can do to achieve greatness in my life, and whatever that looks like. Yep. And that's why I'm grateful for what we do, because it's bigger than just putting a ball in a basket. Yeah. It's so much bigger than it's for them to understand purpose. It's for them to understand what it means to be a leader, that you can be set apart. You don't have to follow the crowd. You don't have to do what's on social media. Yep. You don't have to do drugs. You don't have to. You do all these different things that are quote unquote cool in today's society. You can being a man of God is cool. Yeah. Doing the right things is cool. Being respected or giving respect, those things are cool. Yeah. Like, we don't have to confuse it with the evil things that are trying to pour into our children. Yep. We can cut that off, throw that in the trash, and start feeding their spirits. Yeah. Feed your spirits and starve your demons. That's something I live by. So that's just that's just how I feel about it.
The power of the mind and body.
Yes.
It's like, it's where we're capable of so much. And we talk about, I talk about that with the kids all the time, how much their body's capable of that they have no idea, because that's another thing that I lived. There's so many levels to how you can push your body. And my body I felt like a machine when I was overseas. But I trained so hard for so many hours and ate the right way and stretched and recovered, and I just was obsessive about everything, and it molded my body into a machine. And so we're going to be opening up Playmaker University. I don't want to say like a training center, because I think we're going to be like a basketball transformation center. Yes. We're going to transform the mind and body. And, I guess we can touch on that a little bit, but what I really want to talk about is your role with the program. Yeah, sure. I want you to talk a little bit about what you enjoy doing with kids, what you've enjoyed doing with kids in our program. And the hope is that you won't be able to do it as much as I want you to, because you go get a professional contract and you do it from afar. But
for sure,
what I envision, and we haven't even talked in depth about this, but we can do it right now. Yeah. What I envision is that you start to work one-on-one with kids in the program about you're our mental performance coach, and helping them through the anxieties they're going with or what they're dealing with on the court, off the court. You've talked to our teams, you've taken them through meditations, you've taken them through prayers. You've done workbook activities with them about, what they're envisioning on the court, and, sports psychology activities. You've done that stuff. I foresee you doing that with all the teams at a certain point whenever you're done with your career. Right. But maybe from afar while you're doing your career, but then the one-on-one work, offering you on a one-on-one basis to our kids in our program.
My role is to unlock them, is to unlock their greatness, is to show them that they are great, that they're more than just, what society tries to tell them, and that they have such incredible ability at such a young age. So it's through the meditation, it's through visualization, it's through writing affirmations and doing all these different things so they can understand, wait a second, mind does control all. So now that I'm cognitively aware of what I'm thinking, when I'm meditating and I just have my eyes closed and I'm just connecting to my breath, I start to just slow down. I'm no longer, I'm just, like Bruce Lee says, be like water. I can just flow. Yeah. So that's why I'm grateful for that role, because I've always, like I said earlier, I always told God that I would want to make an impact in this world and to help kids. And
you are.
I'm living in the truth. Thank you.
You are, yeah. And Steph Curry, we were talking about him and how he talked about it. His flow
I want to thank you for mentioning that. So actually, as you know, I work with, a sports psychologist that he works with. And to understand the level of detail that goes behind, we were talking a little bit off camera. When Curry hits a shot, he'll shimmy, he'll do he'll do all this stuff. Yeah. But it's because he's earned it. He's worked so hard, thousands and thousands of hours when nobody was watching to be free on the court. And Tony Robbins actually talked about this in one of his podcasts. He said, you get rewarded in public for what you do in private. And he's using Stephen Curry as an example, how many shots he takes, in practice. And to unlock that flow, it takes a ridiculous amount of work ethic, but then also freedom of mind to not care about, misses. The sports psychologist named Graham, he said, Steph Curry's power is that he can go 0 for 10 and he'll still shoot, believe he'll make the next one. That's his power. So he doesn't have, you know what I mean? Yeah. He doesn't have a fear of failure because he's like, I've done this thousands of times. Yeah. Who cares if I miss another, or I'm just going to keep shooting it. And that's what I want our guys to understand is like, hey, you're going to miss shots. That's a part of the game. Yeah. But if you limit yourself here, you won't be able to perform at your highest level. Like it talks about in The Inner Game of Tennis, one of the greatest sports psychology books. There's self-1 and self-2. Yep. Self-1 is the one that doubts and it overthinks, and you might get a wide open look and then you hesitate, and then because you waited, now defense is coming and now you ruin the whole play. Or and self-2 is like, no, I'm gonna just trust myself. Oh, I shoot it, make or miss. I'm living with the result. Yeah. And it's just being free. You have to be free. But in order to be free, you have to train this. If you don't, the mind is like a muscle. Just like we get our bicep curls and we like to work out and get strong and fit, it's the same thing for here. Yeah. You have to train your mind. Yeah. You have to.
And the truth is, kids, adults, we're not scared about missing the shot. We're scared about what other people are going to think when we miss the shot. That's why training the mind, it's not training you just to think I'm going to make the shot. It's training yourself not to worry about what other people think.
Yes.
And that frees up the mind, and then you're just shooting it.
Yes.
And it's like, I missed the next 7, but like, man, I take thousands of shots a week or whatever you do. It's trusting your work, and it's but it's really it's protecting yourself from yourself.
Exactly.
From those thoughts. And Steph Curry, I'm a big Steph Curry fan, and he's a Christian and he uses his platform, but I used to struggle because I'm very against the showboating. Right. And I don't put up with it in our program. You don't mock other players. You don't do this in their face. Right. You can cheer for your teammates, get up off the bench and do that, or I can clap to my own teammate. And we want that excitement, but like, I don't want us mocking other players. I don't want us showboating because that's all about me. Right. And that's not classy. Right. We don't want that. But Steph Curry talked about it and it helped me. He said, I do the shimmy and I do all that to get myself in that joyous state.
Exactly.
Because I'm just getting in my flow. And you know, the shimmy, it's like, and you can see it. He's loose and he's getting a shot up quick. And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Exactly.
I knew he wasn't trying to showboat to other people.
Right.
Because that's not what he's about. He's about glorifying God. And so like, once I heard him talk about that, I was like, okay, good.
Exactly.
I can go back to just totally supporting everything he does, because I'm a huge Steph Curry fan. And you're right, man. He trains hours. Tony Robbins says you get rewarded in public for what you do thousands of hours in private, in the dark, when nobody's watching. And I know that Steph does that because he is a machine. When he locks it in and lets it go, it's automatic because he has trained his body like that.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, it is.
That's so powerful too, because it's like, you have to understand, even Stephen Curry talks about getting nervous before games. And I talked to some of our guys about it. It's like, it's normal. Although he might have a quadrillion millions of dollars and he's on TV and he's in the NBA and all these different things, he's still human. He still faces nervousness. He still faces anxiety before he plays. He still worries about maybe what the crowd thinks, but he has to, like you said, get himself in that joyous state so he can understand how to be a kid again, because this is a kid's game that we're meant to enjoy. That's why God gave it to us. It wasn't for our egos and for a status or fame. And no, it's about the glory of God. And when you really understand that, that's when you unlock levels that you knew were within, like I touched on earlier, but then you really get to live it. You get to really, truly experience everything that you've been seeking. So I absolutely love talking about the flow state, man, because it's beautiful. Flow state is like pure bliss.
Yeah. And I love talking about the body. So it's like a good combination. That's what the gym's going to be about. Yeah, it's the transformation of the mind and body. And like when I say Steph Curry built is like a machine, I was getting to that point when I was overseas. My body felt like a machine. And what I would do is train my body extremely hard, really high explosive movements, hours upon hours, and then go right to the gym and shoot it out. To where your body is so tight and stiff that it's hard to even shoot it normally in the beginning. I'm shooting air balls, but then you're just forcing your body to do it the right way after these workouts. And it starts to shape your body into this machine-like. And when I was mastering my body, where, you know, I was shooting with unbelievable range, but as long as I locked my lower body and upper body into the right spot, it was automatic. You know, just do the mechanics the right way, it's automatic. And it's training your body to be like a machine. You know, and I can sense that Steph Curry has done that to the highest level, to the absolute highest level. That's why he's just got to get it off. Doesn't matter if there's a hand in his face or where he's at on the court, or is it off the dribble, off the catch, or, you know, it doesn't matter. Not at all. Because it's just, imagine a robot that you put a ball into and it releases. And it's designed to go into the basket. That's what his body has become.
Literally. Once you condition the mind, the body follows. You know, especially with his trainer, Brandon Payne, it's like the neurological training that they do, the mental training, like these things, there's no secret to success. There's a reason why he is where he is today. And for any listeners out there, especially with our athletes, and I was listening to a Michael Jackson interview. He said, study the greats and become greater. And that was really powerful to me. I'm like, wow, being at such a young age to be able to have access to technology and information and things that are being taught, you can take all of this and apply it to your game and your life. And you can be better than a Stephen Curry. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Because Stephen Curry is human just like you. And that's just for LeBron James is human just like you. Like, whatever the case may be. But it's just to say, like, the only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. And that's something I really want our guys to know. Don't ever let anyone tell you that the NBA is too big of a dream to accomplish. It's not. It's not. I agree. If you truly believe and you work, anything is possible. So, but no, I absolutely love, you know, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's like a neuroscientist. He's in the spirituality space. I'm sure you've heard. He talks a lot about like memorized identity. We become our habits and like our what we believe about ourselves. It's just constantly going. So like as an athlete, it's like, if I'm not eating the proper foods, if I'm not stretching, if I'm not watching film, if I'm not getting a shot, how can I expect success? It doesn't make any sense. But if I'm doing the right things and pouring into my mind and my body and my soul, I mean, wow. I mean, just, it's like, this is something that I was reading too that's so powerful, even for myself as a professional player. You don't play basketball to prove anything. You play basketball to express. You're a vessel and you're a soul to express, you know, who you are. Like, I'll use Kyrie Irving for an example. His handle is so beautiful. It's like, he's like Picasso and the court is his canvas and he's just painting and illustrating his thoughts through his play. And it's like, that's his soul. And that's what I want more of our athletes to understand is like, you're a soul expressing through this physical temple. to play the game you love, that you've been blessed to be able to play. Because not everybody has this ability and gift. So that's just something big, you know, I want them to know.
It's a special sport. Like basketball, it's not football where you got helmets, like everyone sees you, right? You're in the light. It's a very emotional game. They say basketball is a game of runs. It is. It's a game of runs. And the higher the environment, the higher the emotions, like the more runs you get. And that's no coincidence. It's because it's an emotional game. And so like learn how to control your emotions, but also how do you express yourself?
Yes.
Like, man, like our slogan, passion meets purpose. We are where passion meets purpose. It's like we want our kids to be passionate. And the purpose is we're living a certain mission. You know?
Definitely. That's a question. Because every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. So when all of this is gone, when the podcast and the nice clothes and the great conversation, when it's done, you know, when we meet our Creator, when we experience the supernatural, the spiritual, whatever you want to call it, we'll all know Judgment Day will come and he'll say, what did you do? My faithful, like, what did you do? Who did you help? Who did you impact? Who did you love? Like, that's what it's really about. It's not, we're conditioned to believe otherwise. And that's why I'm grateful for conversations like these, because it's very refreshing to have a kindred spirit, somebody who's like-minded, who understands the bigger mission. And that is what creates change in the world. It's not, you know, what we're taught, so to say. So,
and I know my mission comes from my experience, like what I went through in my life, the good and the bad. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful. That's why, like, my story, and I'm going to start to share it more, the bad part more, because like I'm so grateful for the bad part. I get to go speak now and talk about what substance abuse and addiction did to my life and where that brought me to. But it was the process of recovering that changed me as a being. If I would have never went through that, I think I would have been a selfish individual that was focused on ego and money and worldly things and status. And I don't care about any of those things anymore. Money does not drive me one bit. I don't, because like I had money once upon a time and I was miserable.
Wow.
You know, and I didn't have God in my life, and you know, I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have I had motivation of worldly things.
Exactly.
You know, and now I have a purpose, and like it's because of what I went through, and it's the greatest blessing I could have ever asked for.
That's so powerful, man. And it was a cleansing of your soul.
Yeah, it was.
You know, because like I touched on earlier, like your story really is your glory. Like to have the power, strength, and vulnerability to share that with the world is going to help so many people beyond what you can even understand right now in your physical form, because we're all going through something. Every single, out of the billions of people on this planet, everybody's going through something. Someone lost their mother this morning. You know, someone's in the hospital who has cancer. Someone's overcoming something. There's always something. To being able to share that and to turn negatives into positives, that's the greatest gift to the world, because it's service. It's being able to help. And that's what he wants from us. So and that's I want to share, like, to what you're saying about your purpose and your why and what gave it to you. For me, it was the community and the environment I grew up in, growing up in the inner cities of America, growing up in Cleveland, living in East Cleveland as a kid, and seeing the way poverty destroys people. And I want to break that down. And it's not just about poverty. You have people who are suffering mentally because they have trauma. Say their mom and their dad was in their life, or their father's in prison, or their mother's in prison, or they may have been, you know, had some harsh things happen to them. And we carry on that hurt. Although we maybe get older in age, we still carry things with us because of things that have happened to us. And seeing the ways that my community has struggled and the way the world has struggled really put it on my spirit to say, Christian, you're not going to live a life focused on money, things. It doesn't matter. You're going to use the gifts that God gave you, because God is real and you know that to be true. You're going to use that. You're going to create that change, generational curses, reversing the brainwashing and speaking truth into the world. That's what it's about. It's not, I mean, what greater feeling to know that I can have a part in saving souls? What greater feeling than that? What greater feeling to say, you know what? There's a young man out there who has a dream of going to the NBA, or has a dream of being the president, who has whatever it might be. And I can play a part in pouring into this child's spirit to help them transcend to what they already know that they are. I'm just like that espresso in the morning to get you going. I'm just the battery pack to, that's what God calls for my life. That's what he calls for all of our lives. So it's like, who am I to dim my light? And that's something that I used to do because of my community. And I'm sure that these kids face these things. I used to get made fun of. Oh, here goes Martin Luther King. And there's like these subliminal, backhanded compliments that were said to like make me feel like, well, am I like weird for like, because I like to read or because I talk about God? But it's like, no, that's what makes me who I am.
Yes.
And last time that I checked, thought leaders create change in the world.
Yep.
Thoughts create everything. So who am I to, again, dim my light? And that's just where I'm at. It's like now, authenticity is the highest frequency. And the more we are ourselves, we give people the permission to be who they are.
Yep.
And, the highest human act is to inspire.
Yeah.
So
you're a special dude, man. It's good.
Thank you. Likewise, brother.
Yeah.
What you see in me is in you. So we're just reflections of each other.
Yeah. Thank you, man. This is an awesome conversation.
Absolutely.
And I'm so happy that I met you. I'm so happy that you're involved in our program. I'm happy to call you a friend.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to seeing what God does with you, with our program and outside of our program. I want to see, I think he's going to push you into a lot of big places, and because you're made of the right stuff. And just grateful for the fact that you get to be a part of Playmaker University. So thank you for coming on, and
thank you, brother.
Looking forward to the future.
Pleasure's all mine.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to pour into our kids and just to make a difference. So it truly means a lot. And thank you for allowing me on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yep.